Good morning and welcome to a rather wet Sunday morning here in Bastogne. It's our last day here actually. We're heading back to England later this evening. So we want to spend a bit of time looking around the town, have a look at some of the sites. And whilst we're doing that, we want to look at some of the sites related to Rene Lemaire. She became known as the Angel of Bastogne. In 1944, Rene Lemaire was a 30-year-old Belgian nurse living and working in Brussels. In December, Rene returned to Bastogne to spend the holidays with her family. Her parents ran a hardware store in this building in the main square. On the 16th of December, Hitler launched his Ardennes offensive, and by the 21st of December, Bastogne was surrounded, trapping Rene here with her family. Because the city was surrounded, the Americans were short of medical personnel, and Rene was employed as a civilian nurse. In the Band of Brothers TV series, it shows Rene working here at the aid station here at St. Pierre Church, looking after the airborne troops. However, that's actually incorrect because the church wasn't used as an aid station in the war, and Rene was actually attached to the 10th Armoured, not the Airborne. Interestingly, the aid station for the 101st Airborne does still exist today. We're on the main street here leading to the square, not far from the St. Pierre Church, and this big red building here was one of the main 101st Airborne aid stations. Before the war, it was a girls' school, and from what I understand, it still is today. Rene was an excellent nurse. She was very popular with the men she treated. She had a real calming and soothing effect on men that were suffering so terribly. On the 23rd of December, the Germans started shelling and bombing Bastogne. Rene was working in the 10th Armoured aid station just off the town square. It took a direct hit from a German bomb. Over 30 American soldiers were killed. Rene was seen coming in and out helping soldiers, screaming for help and asking for water. She went in on around the 6th or 7th time, and she was never seen again. Now, today, on the spot of the aid station is just a Chinese restaurant, but on the Chinese restaurant is a memorial plaque to Rene. Rene was an incredibly brave lady. Sadly, her body was found in the ruins. She was wrapped up in a white parachute and taken back to her parents, where she was laid to rest here in Bastogne Cemetery. Later, Rene was recognised by the King of Belgium and became a knight in the Order of the Crown. A lovely end to this story is that Rene's good friend Augusta, who was also betrayed in the Band of the Brothers, wasn't on duty that night when the aid station was hit. She managed to survive the war and went on to live a long life, passing away only last year in 2015. Augusta was also recognised for her services and is buried here in the Bastogne Cemetery, not far from Rene. This is a huge memorial, and we've just spotted some steps. They look as though we're going to go, if it wasn't such a misty day.
I don't know what we'll be able to see it there, but hopefully we might get a bit of a view.
Yeah, we might get a bit of it. It's worth trying.
Wow. You've still got an incredible view even with the cloud coming down.
This star-shaped memorial was inaugurated in July 1950 and commemorates the 76,890 American servicemen who were killed, wounded and missing during the Battle of the Bulge.
I really hate rushing.
Yeah, I know. It's a real shame, obviously, that we've run out of time, because it really is an incredible memorial.
Time may be very short, but we're just managing to sneak in a quick visit to the Bastogne War Museum. Martin, who's one of the chaps that runs the museum, has offered to give us a very brief but personal tour.
Very nice to meet you, Martin.
Nice to meet you. Well, I suggest we lead you through the museum and have a quick visit, quick peek in what is the Bastogne War Museum.
Perfect, I look forward
Let's
to
go
it.
in.
Lead on.
Here we have one of the iconic objects of the Bastogne War Museum that was in fact already in the Bastogne Historical Center. It was a bringback. As you can see, it's a sign from the entrance of the town of Bastogne from one of the main roads. There were about 8 or 9 of them, we're not too sure about, during the battle that was still standing. And that's the interesting point about it, is that it's the exact same one as McAuliffe, General McAuliffe, the famous nuts guy, is holding in his hands right here on the picture. Very famous picture, of course, of the battle. It got here a bit by chance in a way. It was a bring back from one of McAuliffe's staff. Of course, they did not just leave it lying on the ground. Somebody had to bring it back home. Brought it back to the States, and it stayed there for a while. I think around the mid-80s it came into the Bastogne Historical Center. At least is the story around it. The only thing we're sure is, to the picture we see it's the exact same one. And as there were very few of them and only 3 surviving now, I think one is in Fort Benning in the USA, if I'm not mistaken. Another one is in a private collection that's of course on loan for us now in a temporary exhibit in Normandy. But for the only 3 surviving ones, we've got the right one, was McAuliffe and the nuts. Well, thank you for visiting.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, I hope you had a nice sneak peek into the museum. Feel free to come back as soon as you want, and we'll have you a tour of other museums in the area, other things to see. There's still plenty left, I guess.
That'd be incredible. Thank you very much, Martin.
You're welcome.